Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. My name's Ian and I am Castle Vape. This morning I have Thomas sitting just here and he's just bought this puppy, which is the G-Box Squonk Kit by Geek Vape. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do him an awesome bit of a deal today. I'm going to sell him this, but I'm also going to do some twisted Claptons. So I'm going to do the twisted Claptons, I'm going to put it in this device, we're going to fill the juice up, and we're going to vape it like a further mucker, okay? So I'm going to start by showing you everything I'm going to be using today, and then I'll take you down, we'll blast through the Clapton, I'll show you how to do the twisted Clapton, we'll then install it, make some coils, and it'll be all singing, all dancing, whistles and bells, and it's going to be mint. Okay then, so for this build I am going to use this drill, okay? I'm going to use some 24 gauge round wire, some 0.1 which is 39 gauge round wire to do the Clapton. So I'm going to do 2 strands of this, twist it to death, then Clapton in this. But this is how I've got it set up. This is a piece of Perspex, which this clamps down to, and this just, funnily enough, MacGyvered to fit, so this will spin and unleash the wire. So when I'm clapping in this wire, it's just going to spin on here nicely, so I don't have to pull loads off and guess how much I've got to pull off. There's the Geek Vape, that can sit there for now because it's not going to be doing anything. And here's my toolkit. Got all sorts of toys, that'll be playing with lots of them. So if you bear with us, we'll get this all set up. I'll get the wire set up, we'll get the drill set up. And as you can see, this is quite low, it could go quite high, but it's nice and easy to get these fishing spinners set up. Lots of spinners, just in case. And this thing spins as well, how cool is that? That's off a lanyard. You know, you can use these things out of anything. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it works, let's use it. So there we go. Happy days. So there's the setup. I'll get the camera put on the tripod and we'll get it all working, alright? Okay then, so for this next part, you're going to get some wire, which is your 24 gauge, a screwdriver, some snips, and a drill. Dead easy, and you can guesstimate this just by doing this. So that's about one length, and then I'm going to grab it here gently, and I'm just going to pull it out, so I don't want to snip it. So that's twice the length of what I'm probably going to use. Snip it off. Then the simplest thing to do to get any wire ready, just to make it easier to work with, even though I'm going to twist it, I'm still going to straighten it. The way you do this is pretty simple. You get this end attached here, you get a pair of pliers or long nose pliers, doesn't matter what, anything, just to hold this in place. Pull it out at length, spin it for about 3 seconds, and when I let go, this wire is going to be nice and straight without me doing anything to it. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fishing spinners, insert one end through here, pull it back towards the drill, and then I'm going to attach it to this end of the drill, and then pull it tight. So all I'm going to do is keep them tight, alright? Snip it off where it's not tight to make it the same length. Put this into the drill. And the only thing you got to check at this stage is if both are tight in the drill. If they're not, you got to start again. So then all I'm going to do is pull this tight, and then I'm going to release it from here. I'm going to get my screwdriver, put it through here, hold it tight, and then I'm just going to blast it. During this process, this screwdriver is going to move closer because this is tightening. So it is going to slowly move. Don't fight against it, just let it happen. But it's got to have some tension on there. Now, this is highly sprung right now. So all you do is just, well, you can either let go or you can unwind it. Simple to do. And then once it's not springy, you can reattach it to this connector and connect that up. And then this time when I spin it, it's just not gonna, it'll spin with these spinners. Now the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop this down so that this wire is a little bit lower, so it's level, okay? So I'm going to undo this, drop it down a bit. That looks pretty good to me. So now I'll tighten it up. And then hopefully that'll sit in there and spin. That's tight, it's not going nowhere. Pull this tight and that's all good. That's stage 2 completed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this, which is literally the finest wire I've ever worked with. It's like 39-40 gauge and it's literally like angel hair. It's beautiful to work with, it's nice and easy to work with. And I'm going to show you how to attach it to this drill now. And hopefully it won't come apart. So, unscrew this end, and you'll see this has made a bit of a V here where you can just literally take your wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this upside down so it feeds easier. And I'm just going to pop that back, and that is going to hold it in place and allow it to undo while I'm doing it. So we don't need that screwdriver anymore. Get the end of this wire, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through the gap of these two. You know, when you need glasses you should wear them. So that's now through the gap, and all I'm going to do is tie this end off. I'm not going to tie all of it off, it's just enough to keep it in the drill. So there you go, snip off this excess because you don't need it. So that now, put that in my handy dandy bin. I'm going to attach this end into the drill. And that, I'm going to pull this so that's nice and tight. And this wire is free. So when I start it off, I'll do it now, just start it off just to get it started, and then put my drill down, undo this wire a bit, and now you'll have everything set up. So you can literally, you can do this as fast as you want, it just takes practice. The one thing you can do, because this wire is very fine, and it's just something I like to do, but it's not something that's necessary. I'm holding that in place for that so it doesn't unwind itself. Now, this is a top tip. Free of charge. Get some sheet of paper, and fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half again. Squeeze it down, and then I use this, which is basically, it's an alcohol spray. And all I do is give it a couple of squirts, or one will do to be honest with you, and then I feed the wire through this, purely and simply because it's an alcohol spray to clean it, and you'll see the results at the end. So that's holding that tight. It's as tight as I can hold it, you can't hold it any tighter, and then all I'm going to do is start. I've started this off now. What I'm going to do is, top tip, start it off slowly and then you can speed up. And the most important thing you've got to do is just get the angle right, so you can have the angle this way or that way. You've got to try and get it nearly 90 degrees, but just slightly pulled back a bit towards the drill, so that it feeds off itself and then goes and wraps better. So if I put it this way, start it off, and that's now working perfectly fine. So now I can speed it up. Right, one thing you probably noticed is it's going back on itself. That's standard procedure, and because you're using such a fine wire and it's on a twisted reel, all you got to do if that happens, reverse the drill and just pull it off. And then all you got to do is wind this back on while you keep a hold of the tension on the wire. So as long as everything's got some tension on it, you're not going to have any major issues. And just feed it back onto the reel, and then you're back to holding it at this type of angle. So again, pull the drill tight, put the drill in the right gear, and then start again. So as you can see, while I'm doing this, it's unwinding the wire, which is really cool. Means you can concentrate more on this than trying to hold a reel of wire between your fingers. And I just find it's a lot easier to do. And you can see the spinners are doing the job, and we're nearly there. Right, so that's now, I've got enough wire there to make 2 coils. That's all we're doing is 2 coils. So I'm just going to wind this back up, cut it off, and then I'll show you this in 1 second. So just make sure you wrap this up and you tie it off, because if you don't, you do not want a spider's web with this stuff. Because it's, well, I'm sure you see plenty of pictures on Instagram and on Facebook of people that have got spider's webs. Dead easy to do, just pull it back through itself. And then tie it off again. And that's it, it's tied off. It's not going anywhere. So that can just sit in with the rest of them. So the reason why I use this is, even though it looks clean, it's untouched by human hands. That is basically the results of me using an alcohol spray with a wire. It's just dirt, just grease. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be worried about. It's just, it's going to burn off anyway. But clean it off in the first place while you're clapping it means you don't rip your hands to shreds while you're holding it in place. But there's a little bit of dirt just for sure. Okay, so we're now on to the build section. Alright, so this is going to be really simple. And it's just going to work like clockwork, because these things always do. For this, I'm going to use the wire I've just created, some Muji 3mm screwdriver, a 3mm coil master jig, the Allen key that fits this one perfectly. You get an Allen key with this, but I like using my own tools, some snips, and we'll put it all together. Alright, so all I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is snip off where the last rollback went on it. I'm then going to use the whole thing to make 2 coils, which, to be honest with you, it's probably going to be about 5 wraps each on each side, and I think that will be fine. So the easiest way to do this is you take your screwdriver with the end that you still got, and then use your 3mm coil master, hold it with your nail down, because it's not going to, you can't use the coil master jig because the wire's too thick now, and then you can use this and just wrap and hold that in place. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm just going to tighten it, and that is nice and tight, and I can snip that off. They're quite, right, here's a top tip for you. If you're using a coil master, perfect length is to use this here, this gauge, to cut the coil. It's the perfect length I found just by accident, so I'm going to cut that off. So one end's short, one end's long, and I'm just going to bend that round so it's going to be easier to put in. So now all I'm going to do is I'll put one in. Alright then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the long leg through there and the short leg through this one. Get in your house. Now don't worry about making it pretty. Alright, it's easy to put the coil in here and then twist it into place. Okay, so while you're putting it in, you can just hold it in place. And then all I'm going to do is tighten this one on. Then I'm going to tighten this one on. Nice and tight. And then you can just twist the coil and pull it. And then it's a lovely little coil. Look at that, man. That's splendid. Bit of work with some tweezers and that's going to sing like Pavarotti. So make the second one, again, easy, just use this hoop to put it through your screwdriver, hold it with one finger nail at this end, and then once you've got a hold of it nice, you can throw it on the ground and start again. So take two. So again, hold it nice and tight with your finger at this end, put your screwdriver through it, go and get in your house. There you go. And then 5 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you can pull that tight. And then that, again, you can snip off the excess here. I'm going to do both sides this time. Okay, using this as a guide. So I'm going to give it a little bit extra just so it's easier to put in, and then just snip it off when it's in there. So just a couple of mil extra just to get off. There's some extra spare free stuff. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this off first and make sure it's out. Perfect. And then again I'm going to undo this. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Again, also fine. And then I'll just insert this in here. And what I want to do is check while I'm putting this in that one of these legs isn't coming through and touching this one. And that looks pretty good to me. The length of it's perfect. Again, I'm going to manipulate the coils once they're in place. So let's tighten this up. And then the same with this one. And then I'm just going to bend this into place and make it straight. Do the same on the other side. And that looks pretty amazing. I like the look of that. Now this is the fun part where you can manipulate the coils to do whatever your will is. The only thing you've got to be careful of when making a dual build on this, you've got to make sure that the inside of the outside measurement from these coils doesn't come anywhere near the top cap. So when I put this on, it should go nice and easy without any resistance, not touching the coil. So that's that build done. Now I'm going to put some batteries in this and fire it up, and we'll get them singing in unison. Right, so got the batteries now. Now this is 24 gauge and it's dual wrap, 2 wraps, and it's then wrapped with 39 gauge. So I think with 5 wraps on each side, this is going to come in at around about 0.15, maybe 0.2, but we'll find out. And that coil's singing at 0.15. I'm a genius. Just call me genius, it's fine. So when I'm finished with it, messing around with it, I think it's going to get closer to 0.2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 50 watts of power through this just to work with these coils, maybe 60, just so I can get them hot. And remember, when you're starting to do this, pulse. Don't just hold the button and press it down. Now I recommend you use ceramic tweezers for this bit, and then just strum the coils while you're pulsing, and it'll wake them up and bring them to life. And then we can play with them and manipulate them. So what I'm going to do, what I mean by manipulate them, is I'm going to put a bit of power through them and squeeze them together, and then give it a bit more power and pulse it. And then I'm going to get this, while it's hot you can move it and adjust it to the right height. So that one's singing, so we'll get this one doing the same thing now. All I want to do is make sure these are tight. So they're all nice and tight now. Okay, so now I'm firing it and firing it and firing it, and it looks pretty good now. Alright, they're both firing at the same time, and that's what we want it to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the top cap on for now, reset this, say no coil, and now it's reading at 0.17 and now halfway between 0.5 and 0.2. Yes, I am that man. So now they've got a nice patina on them as well. There's purples in there and golds in there, and then we're going to wick it up now. So Muji, we love Muji. Take the outer layer off it, nice and gently. You can use that for cleanup. And then you can take this side off for cleanup as well. It's got 2 sides off, keep them to one side. I'm going to pull the edges off this one, because you always find the edges are a bit thicker. So get the edge off each side. For all you people with OCD hating me doing this, I don't care. You don't have to cut it. You can just pull it apart like this. Look everybody, look. OCD, it's over, it's finished. Then I'm just going to roll this over. I don't like using scissors to cut it for one simple reason. It compresses the cotton. Whenever you cut cotton, it compresses. So that is going to just get rolled out like this, kill the ends of it. And again, what I'm going to do, it's a squonker, so I want to have the ends cut with a razor blade. So just get this end pulled through to there, and then hold this end tight, spin it, and then drop it into place. Bit of give and take is what you want. We'll repeat the process on this side. Kill the ends of it. Put it in, get it through, pull it tight, spin it, get it through, and release. And it's got a bit of tension on there. Now, dead simple. Get a razor blade, and I'm going to cut it down to the height of the RDA. So down to there, lift it up, twist it, cut it, twist it, cut it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these back a little bit. And that looks pretty good. I like that. That's about the right length for this RDA. And again, this one, twist it, cut it off. And this side, twist and cut it off. Means that the ends stay fluffy, they don't get compressed. And then everyone's waiting for that famous moment when we get the pointy thing out. Yes, it's back. My favourite tool in the world. I'm just going to make sure these are half and half on each side. Get your pointy thing, pull it back on itself, drop it in, and pull it back to the deck. Police are arriving. Can you imagine if the SWAT turned up? I get punked by SWAT, that would be awesome. There's a man using a knife to cut things in Castle Vapes. Armed response are required. And then put that in there. Put that in there. And that is one RDA ready for some squonking. 2 batteries. Ready to go. And is that nice and focused there? Can you see that? That's ready to rock and roll. So what I'll do is we're going to get this juice bottle filled up with what we're having. Oh yes, you did. You went with the strawberry gummies. Hello, beautiful. We're going to get some Nick Shop thrown in here, fill this bottle up, and then I'm going to show you how I pre-wick these coils. Okay, so what I've done is I've put this. It's about 3/4, well, about 80% full. All right. I don't like filling these up. All right. So I'm just going to put it in here. That fits in nicely. Holds in place. Get the batteries put in again. Locked and loaded. Now, what I want to do is I want to test the squonk. So what I'm going to do is just basically squeeze it out. Squonkers take about 5 minutes work to work out how much squeeze you got to do. So what I do is I count. That's 5 up to the top, and then it let go, and it's soaking it back in. That's perfect. It's working like a trooper. So 5 count, and that's getting it up to the coils. So that's working. We like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just prime the coils, because you can do it very slowly with a squonker. Just prime it and prime it and prime it by squeezing that bottle. But at the end of the day, you need this to be saturated. So just fill it up, give it a few squirts of juice, and then any excess you got, you can use your shitty bits or cloth just to wipe up, because more is better when it comes to juice. And that is about ready to sing. I like that. Fire it, give it a test fire. I need to switch it on again, don't I? That would help Ian. Dope. Oh, it's singing. Pulse it about 3 or 4 times, just to see that both are firing at the same time, and any excess juice you've got in there is just going to get burnt off. Lovely jubbly. And that is all singing, all dancing, whistles and bells. That is going to sing Air holes adjustment, I usually have them halfway. That's just my preference. Tom will probably have them open fully in about 5 seconds. But that is singing like a trooper. We'll give it a test fire, see how it goes. This is like the bit where I'd like to thank my mum, my dad and my family. They've always been great. Love you all. Not my kids though, they're a bunch of dicks. They just want money off me every day. Dad, can I have? But anyway. That's nice, but I am going to turn it back down again. 45 watts to start with, I think. 45 watts. Works. I always start off low and work my way up. There's no point in going at 90 watts straight away just for shits and giggles. You end up using like dry hits and stuff and then coughing all over YouTube, and it's never a good thing. Tom will probably turn this up to about 50. 55. Aren't you?
No.
55. Because he likes a hot vape. 55 watts. Air hose still only halfway. He'll open it up fully because he's like that. That's twisted 24 gauge, 39 gauge Clapton, twisted Clapton, hide in a G-box that Tom's about to give me lots of money for. That'll be $6 million, please, Tom. Plus that. And the Nick shot. Well, Nick shot. What are you shaking your head for? I'm serious. So, to finish, well, basically what we've done is a twisted Clapton with 24 gauge, 2 wraps tied off, spinned, Clapton it, 5 wraps on each side, comes in a 0.17, perfect for a squonker with 2 batteries and regulated, thank you very much. He's got 2 brand new Samsungs, not the Samsungs, Sony VTR6 in there, so the batteries are fine. It's a safe build, it's singing like a trooper. Try it. Got any questions? Leave some comments. If you think I'm stupid, leave a comment anyway. For now, au revoir, das Vidania, hasta mañana. You've been great. Bye bye now.